Hello students, today we'll study another play from your class 11 syllabus. The name of the play is Mother's Day and it is from your book Snapshots. In this particular video, we will be doing the explanation of the entire chapter, the main theme of the chapter and the character sketch of various important characters in this particular play. It's a very interesting play. I'm sure you will definitely like it. The play is written by J.B. Priestley. It reveals how Mrs. Pearson's efforts are ignored by her family. So actually there is a lady by the name of Mrs. Pearson, Mrs. Annie Pearson in this particular play, and she feels she's a normal housewife and she feels ignored by her family. This play narrates how the family members who work 8-hour shifts a day look down upon her. She is doing just the normal household work, although she works for them 24/7. After all she does for them, they take her for granted. They make her feel obligated to provide for them and do not even appreciate her efforts. It reveals how her friend Mrs. Fitzgerald, who is also her neighbor and a fortune teller, helps her earn the place and respect she deserves as the woman of the house. A lot of humor is generated when this family finds the mother not working but drinking, smoking, and playing cards instead. Now, coming to the main play, the play begins with two friends having a candid conversation at Mrs. Pearson's house. So, the two friends are Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald. So, Mrs. Fitzgerald is telling Mrs. Pearson's fortune and advises her on it. She tells her to be strict. She says that she has a mixed card, so her fortune lies in her own hands. Mrs. Pearson goes about telling her how her family doesn't value her and doesn't appreciate whatever she does for them. She is available for them 24/7 and all they do is come in, throw orders around her and leave without even saying thank you to her. So she feels as if she's a doormat and being used by her family. Mrs. Fitzgerald tells her to take her stand as the woman of the house, but Mrs. Pearson, being the very sweet and innocent lady, doesn't want to bring her family to any sort of discomfort. She continues to handle their tantrums because she doesn't know where to begin when it comes to making them disciplined. Mrs. Fitzgerald proposes a plan to switch their bodies so that Mrs. Fitzgerald takes her place without her family knowing. Mrs. Pearson is hesitant at first, but then Mrs. Fitzgerald convinces her for it. So what Mrs. Fitzgerald suggests is, what will happen is, I am going to deal with your family. What will happen is, I have learned a trade down east. That is, when we talk about east, that means the eastern part of the world. That means in Asia, when her husband was working in the army, she had learned it there to how to transform souls. So what will happen is Mrs. Fitzgerald's soul will enter Mrs. Pearson's body and Mrs. Pearson's soul will enter Mrs. Fitzgerald's body. So she suggests her family will not even come to know because she will be there as Mrs. Pearson only. So her physical appearance will remain the same. Mrs. Fitzgerald performs a magic that she learned from the East and their personalities are changed. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald is actually in Mrs. Pearson's body and vice versa. Now, new Mrs. Pearson, who is actually Mrs. Fitzgerald, tells Mrs. Fitzgerald to go to her house for the time being. At this moment in the play, Doris Pearson, who is the daughter of Mrs. Pearson, enters the scene asking for tea and ordering Mrs. Pearson to iron her yellow silk dress. She gets shocked at the sight of her mother smoking, and from there the argument begins where Mrs. Pearson insults Charlie Spence, the guy she is about to go out with. She says that why do you want me to iron your yellow silk dress? So she says, because I have to go out on a date with Charlie Spence. And Mrs. Pearson, who is actually Mrs. Fitzgerald, says that I would prefer not going with anybody rather than going with a person like Charlie Spence. She says, so Doris asks, what is the problem with him? So she says that he is buck teeth. You know, it's a buck teeth. जो दो दांत बाहर निकले रहते हैं ना, a person with two big teeth lying in the front. He's buck teeth and he's half-witted. That means he's not smart and not intelligent. So it's better not to go out with anybody rather than going with Charlie Spence. So hearing all this, Doris feels insulted and starts crying. So Doris leaves crying and Cyril, her brother, enters asking for tea and something to eat. So both Doris and Cyril are old enough, they are mature enough children in their early 20s and they are working. So they enter after work. He too is amazed at having come home to see that there is nothing to eat and no tea to drink. Upon asking if anything is wrong, Mrs. Pearson tells him that she had never felt better. Cyril gets annoyed and Doris joins him, where they are told that Mrs. Pearson might even take the weekend off. Next, George Pearson enters the scene, shocked to see his wife drinking. So both the son and the daughter argue. See, we work 8 hours a day. So Mrs. Pearson says, I'm also going to work 40 hours a week. That means you also get Saturday, Sunday off. I'm also going to get Saturday, Sunday off. I also need a break. I might go out somewhere on the weekends also. He says, that means you're not going to work at all? She said, yes, I will work, but only if you say thank you to me. If you ask me, it's more merely like an obligation. I might prepare a bed or two or prepare your breakfast, but you have to manage the house. The way you also have weekends off, I will also get my weekends off. Now George Pearson enters. He's a fat man in his early 50s and he's very pompous. Pompous is a person who is a self-conceited person, who is self-centered, who doesn't care about people around. So George announces that he has some special match at the club and that he won't be requiring any tea this afternoon. So Mrs. Pearson says, actually I have not prepared tea only. So on being told there is no tea, he gets annoyed again. Mrs. Pearson mocks him for getting annoyed at not getting something he didn't actually want. She tells him about the names they call him at the club. She simply frankly tells him that you go to the club where people actually make fun of you and they call you Pompey Ompy Pearson. They've named you and they've nicknamed you as Pompey Ompy Pearson. You go there. Further tells him that this would not have happened had he stayed at home once in a while. He says you spend your time at a place where they make fun of you rather than you should be sitting with your wife who waits for you, who wants to spend time with you. George gets annoyed when Mrs. Fitzgerald calls him by his name. But just like it had been happening all day, Miss Pearson barges in to bring George on track. Doris enters the scene and she too is not very pleasant to Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Pearson brings her on track too. So what happens suddenly? Mrs. Pearson enters. She was very worried. What is going on wrong with my family? I hope everything is fine. So she calls George by the name, and she's now it is UK. So people tend to take offense when they call you by the first name. She says, "How come you're calling me George? You should be calling me Mr. George Pearson instead." So Mrs. On hearing this, Mrs. Pearson says that don't you ever talk to neighbors like this? Your name is George only, right? She's not saying something wrong, so you better behave. And she also, Mrs. Pearson also notices that even Doris is quite annoyed and Cyril is also annoyed. So all this, seeing all this, Mrs. Fitzgerald gets worried. At this point, Mrs. Pearson, loses her cool and asks the family members to excuse the two friends for a moment. She promises them that she knows how to make the situation better. Mrs. Fitzgerald asks Mrs. Pearson to switch the bodies, and while Mrs. Fitzgerald resists at first but later relents, they repeat the process they did in the first place. So, Mrs. Fitzgerald was very worried. She could not see her family in trouble, her daughter crying, George being so sorry, feeling so bad about people calling him Pompey or Pearson. So she says that let's change back, let's get back to our own person. But Mrs. Pearson refuses. She says, give me some more time. I'll handle with them. Give me some more time. They'll be absolutely fine. She says, no, let us exchange back. So finally she relents, but she tells her to put her foot down and stop being too goody-goody with your family. They fear, Miss Fielder explains that Miss Pearson, now important for him is to be commanding once in a while, to establish a control and respect. The family enters in awe of their dominating mother, and Mrs. Pearson suggests that they play rummy and the kids make supper. Everyone instantly agrees and they are a bit relieved too. Mrs. Fitzgerald exits. Mother finally has a day and the play ends. So what happens? Finally, while Mrs. Fitzgerald was leaving, now she is Mrs. Fitzgerald only. So the family comes in. They are too scared of their mother. So says, we are not going out today. So you tell us how do you want the day to be spent? So she says that that because they are very much in awe of their dominating mother. So she says that let us play rummy and the kids will prepare supper. I want to have a nice chat with my husband today. We will all have a game of rummy together, and all the family members are relieved to see their mother is absolutely in a good mood today, because initially she was in a very bad mood and was literally shouting at them all the time. So mother finally has her day, and that is why the name One Day, which their children actually appreciated her and followed her orders, and the husband is also quite appreciative of her. So that particular day was her day. So that is why the name of the play is Mother's Day. So coming to the main theme of this chapter, the play Mother's Day deals with the theme that a mother is busy in her never-ending household work. Everyone in the family, her husband and children, takes her for granted and heavily depend on her. Unfortunately, in this process, her need for rest, relaxation, holiday and love gets awfully neglected. Often, she takes all her suffering and humiliation in her stride, but there comes a time when she can't take it any longer and wants her family to realize their mistake and apologize to her. The play gives a message to all the women who are treated like doormats to arise, wake up, and fight for their rights. The play teaches us that mothers should be given due respect and treated with dignity. So, coming to the character sketch, this is Mrs. Annie Pearson. She's a very loving and caring mother. She's treated as a maid of the house. She's unhappy and wants to protest, but is very timid. Timid means she lacks confidence. She gets the much needed help from Mrs. Fitzgerald. Who changes into a self-confident woman who gets her family's attention and respect. Now this is Mrs. Fitzgerald. She's in total contrast to Mrs. Pearson's personality. She's very strong, she's very dominating, she drinks also, she smokes also, and she has no inhibitions about it. She's not conscious of the fact. She's very cool and incisive. She strongly believes in mother's right to be the boss of the house and not to be treated as a doormat. She believes husbands, sons, daughters should be taking notice of the wives and mothers, not giving them orders and treating them like dirt. She helps Mrs. Pearson get a rightful place in the family. So in short, we can say that she's a very good neighbor and very understanding and a compassionate lady. Coming to the character of both the children, that is Cyril and Doris. The children Doris and Cyril are insensitive and rude to their mother. They are very thoughtless and selfish. Doris is very pretty, but she's spoiled at the same time. She behaves in an annoying and a willful manner. Cyril is conscious of his looks. He's brash and aggressive in his speech when he is dealing with his mother. Now this is George Pearson. He's slow, pompous, he's in his early 50s, he neglects his wife, considers himself socially successful. He prefers to spend his time at the club with friends who call him Poppy Ompy Pearson. So he totally neglects his wife. So that's all for today. I hope you understood this particular chapter. Happy learning!